How I started a £1 million homestaging business in my teens with no money and no qualifications. If you want to learn how to turn your passion for interior design into a business, but worry that you don't have any money in the bank, you don't have a portfolio of work, any qualifications in design, and you just have no experience, then you've came to the right place. Because that was me 6 years ago. But within 2 years, I had created a 7-figure homestaging business. And today I'm here to reveal exactly how I done this. So let's dive in. Hey, my name is Liv Conlon and I am the founder of 7-figure homestaging business, The Property Stagers, and also founder of STAGERBOSS, where I now help other women build successful homestaging businesses. Now, I wanted this video really to dive a little bit into my origin story and how I basically got started in the homestaging industry, but I also want to give you 3 little nuggets of the things that you need in order to start a successful homestaging business. So my journey actually began when I was 13 years old. I launched my very first business, and that was just selling goods on eBay. I had got some pocket money. I then imported that from Alibaba and started to sell it on eBay. But when I was around the age of 16, turning 17, and really had to decide what my life was going to look like in terms of my career, I had a few options. I could have went to university and studied something. I was an A-grade student, or I could have went into full-time employment, or the other option, ding, 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 for me was launch a business. So for me, I knew that I didn't really deal well with authority. What I didn't like about school was that I would be told where to go, what to wear, what time to be there. And I thought, I want to be my own boss. Now this might be calling out to you a little bit as well, if you're thinking, I want that type of freedom in my life too. So from there, I decided 16 turning 17 years old that I was gonna leave school and launch the business. So I'm gonna share with you what those 3 things were that I believe really built the foundations for me to go on and scale a 7-figure business in under 2 years. Now let's dive in. Number 1, I got very clear on what the business idea was, often called the Lightbulb Moment. So my business idea was really born, I guess, out of frustration. My mum had a property that was on the market. It was an empty property. And it sat there for 3 months. There were a few viewers, but there were never any buyers or any offers on the table. So what I suggested was, really the feedback from the viewers was that they couldn't really envisage themselves in that space. So it was a 2-bedroom property. It had an open plan living kitchen, and it also had 2 bedrooms. Now, when viewers were coming into the space, they couldn't see how the kitchen could be used as an open plan space with also a living area. So I thought, why don't we stage the property and see if that makes a difference? Now, I had heard of homestaging from US TV programs, but in the UK at the time, it wasn't something that was largely practiced, and there certainly weren't many companies that were offering this type of service at anywhere like an affordable price. There was interior designers, but there wasn't any homestagers that would stage the property for sale. So I decided to stage the property for sale. It then went back onto the market, and the property sold in 3 days above what it had actually been valued at. At that point, I realized staging works, and this could be a really great business idea. So think about it, where for you has your business idea stemmed from? Has it been from watching these videos, or has it been from your own personal circumstance? It's a really important thing to understand, because this is often used in our brand story and actually how we actually get clients. So it was a really powerful thing for me to get very clear on where that business idea was born, and really it all snowballed from there with a lot of hard work and the other two things that I'm going to be sharing with you. Now, the second reason why I was able to scale such a successful 7-figure business in under 2 years was that I created a business model where I did not need any startup funds because I would be paid up front. Now, let me explain this model in a little bit more detail. Because I was 16, 17 years old, I had no money. I'd started that small side business when I was 13, but really it wasn't massively profitable. It was more like a hobby business. So I literally had £0 in my bank account when I launched the business. So when I got the idea, I knew within that I can't build this, I can't go out and buy anything because I literally have nothing. So my only option was to get paid up front from the client. So the way this works was that I would go and I would quote on how much it would cost to stage a property for sale. I would then charge them that fee up front, and then I would go and buy the furniture with the money that was paid to me. Now, this is one of the best business models I've ever came across. And I really created this model that's scalable, hence why it's now a 7-figure business. Because basically I used that money that they paid me to purchase the furniture, stage the property, job done. But what that actually meant was the client rented the furniture from me. Because when you were staging, you're only going to stage the property for a specific amount of time because it's then going to sell. What that means is you can move that kit to another client's property once the property is sold, the first one. So I actually owned a full kit of furniture that I had not spent any of my own money on that I could take to client number 2. Meaning that when client number 2 paid me, I was pretty much fully profitable apart from a few removal costs, etc. So guys, this is the business model that is so scalable, and this is the framework that I've created, and it's why so many women are being so successful in building home staging businesses. I actually just got a message from one of my clients, Jo, just yesterday, that she's given in her notice to her 9-to-5 and is now running with this business model, and she's completely scaled this, heading towards 6 figures. So getting paid up front for me was the absolute key, and it may be for you too. On that note, before we go to point 3, if you're already sold on the idea of launching a home staging business, then go click the subscribe button, because I have so much more training available to you on how this can be the business for you to help you ditch that 9-to-5 and really start claiming your time to shine. Now, the third secret to my success was I stopped selling one-to-one and I started to sell one-to-many. What does this mean? So when I originally launched the business, my way of getting my first few clients was actually through networking events. So I used to go to local networking events within the UK and speak to people about what I was doing. And I always think that is a great idea when you're starting out, trying to speak to as many people in person as possible, build up that trust and that rapport. But at one point I did realize that if I want to scale this bigger to the extent that I did, then there's only one of me, and there's only so many networking events and so many people I can speak to individually in order to scale it. So I realized I actually have to get much more people hearing my name. I need to get into many conversations, and I need to speak to many people. Now, the way I done this was through social media. I started to share really the behind the scenes of building the business, posting the installations and the staging jobs that I was doing, and started to actually build a brand around what I was doing so that word of mouth picked up momentum and people started to know me not only from a one-to-one sort of experience, but actually I was getting recommended, I was the one being tagged, and my name started catching wildfire. So when you're in that moment of actually I want to take this bigger and I want to scale it, that's when we move from one-to-one to one-to-many. And every business I have today is growing purely online. And that is the power of creating that brand and going out to a bigger audience. Now, if you want to launch your home staging business and want to know the ins and outs in more detail than what I've explained here, then I have a free training for you at becomeastagerboss.com. It is a completely free, in-depth training of how to take your business idea from inception to actually launching that home staging business and getting your first client. So becomeastagerboss.com, I will see you there. Now, I would say the third point for me, no. Now, I know that sounds all mushy, fairy, weighty, leave that out. Okay. How I started a £1 million home staging business in my teens. Now, the third